Hello from France. The most exciting transit of the month, in my personal opinion, occurs on Thursday, August 18th, with Venus, the planet of beauty, love, and harmony, trining Jupiter, the planet of good luck and optimism. With those two getting into a dance, we can expect benevolence, joy, and abundance. Let's take a closer look. My name is Anastasia. I'm a traditional Western astrologer specializing in natal, relationship, and predictive readings. If you'd like to work with me, check out the links down below. And if you're new to my channel, please subscribe, leave me a comment or a like. Any interaction helps my channel grow and reach more people. So thank you for that. I am currently in France, Antibes to be specific. You might see a little bit of water, a snippet of water over there. So I wanted to take you guys with me. If you'd like to see more of my journey, more of my travels, check out my Instagram at Anastasia Does Astrology. And before I dive in talking about this transit, I wanted to tell you about the product that I started selling recently, and that is my planetary magic candles. I still have a few left. If you check out the link down below, it's there as well. And these candles were created at a carefully selected time, specific time at sunrise, with the sun on the ascendant in the sign of Leo that it rules, trining Jupiter at the time. So we're going to talk about Venus trining Jupiter right now. I bottled up the transit of Sun trining Jupiter, and if you light one up, it can bring you more confidence, more success, favors of people in power and successful people, as well as just overall sense of being more aligned with yourself, because it's the sun in Leo, and the sun in Leo has that confidence, right, and security within oneself. So I'm super excited about this transit. Let me know how has August been so far for you, but there's been plenty of tough Saturnian aspects, Uranus in the mix. For me, yesterday was actually, because I'm filming it the day after the full moon, and in France they had fireworks for the full moon. So I mean, I assume they were they're not really probably for the full moon, but I'm like, French, no, what's up? But they had fireworks, and the full moon was squaring Uranus. So I was like, is this my Uranus? Like, you know, disruptive, surprising events that ended up being quite pleasant. Okay, so let's talk about Venus in a trine with Jupiter. Very happy transit. Venus brings things and people together. Venus wants harmony. Venus wants people to get along, enjoy the good times. It's the planet of love. It's the planet of enjoying good times and having good food, right? Like, Venus is considered the lesser benefic. It's a benefic, so it's good things, but it's lesser, meaning it's like the sense of a good day, right? Good people, good company, everything exciting. Jupiter is the greater benefic. So Jupiter brings good things, but more on a larger scale. Jupiter has to do with our purpose in life, with our goals, with our optimism, right? How do we feel? What makes us feel excited? And if you look at the sign of Jupiter in your natal chart, you may see some of that. Like, my Jupiter is in Aries, and going off alone sometimes, or starting new ventures, like, you know, starting to sell candles, is very Jupiterian, Jupiter in Aries of me. I love that placement. And I'm curious if you guys can hear any of the sounds of the road or birds. There's a little bit of seagull action. So Jupiter is the planet of faith. Jupiter makes us believe that things will get better, that things will improve, right? It's the opposite of Saturn in a lot of ways, because Saturn makes us look at limitations of life and says that no matter how hard you try, your body will deteriorate and things will die out. But Jupiter says that people are good, things are good. There is capability for us to do better and feel better. And trines are of the nature of Jupiter, so the two are in a trine, and trines imply harmonious flow, right? Venus is currently in Leo, a fire sign. Jupiter is in Aries, another fire sign. So when you get aspects between two planets in the signs of the same element, they get along. And we all know that, right? Like, even if you're new to astrology, you know that like Aries, Leo, and Sag will have a great jolly time because they're all fire signs. So similarly here, there is an easy flow of resources. So if Venus wants to start, it's Venus and Leo, right? Like wants to start singing and performing in front of people. Jupiter is like, here's optimism, here's belief in yourself. Go off, try something new, I will support you. So, you know, like they're both focused on connecting with our more authentic self. Venus being in Leo wants to shine, wants to perform, entertain people, be seen, right? And Jupiter is excited to try new things. Jupiter is excited to be independent and self-reliant. It is retrograde right now. Jupiter is retrograde, so it's more introspective, and maybe the way you improve yourself is not by necessarily like stepping into the spotlight and getting 1 million followers. And if that happens to you, let me know. But maybe you become more secure in yourself, right? Like maybe you say no to something and it makes you feel like powerful and strong. So in that regard, we will find more success with this aspect if we take action. So it's a lovely aspect, and if you just chill out, you'll have a lovely day. But like, it's one day, and if you say like, oh, Anastasia, you promised all these great things, but it's about taking action, right? Jupiter and Aries, you gotta do it. And yeah, so if you don't take any strong action, you just have like a lovely night or day. Good time to perform, good time to put yourself out there, good time for business initiatives, publishing, promoting your work. Jupiter deals with education, travel, expanding your world. Venus deals with creativity, social relationships, love. So networking is lovely, going out with friends is great, traveling, taking classes, presenting ideas, you likely find success. Be careful of a tendency when you have too much of a good thing. You might forget that, you know, Saturn is still in the mix, and you need to work hard because Jupiter, Venus, and if you have this aspect in your natal chart, let me know. But Jupiter, Venus together can make people give up too quickly. Like, let's say things don't go your way immediately, and you're like, well, maybe it's not meant to be. So I don't know what I want to do with my hair. So don't give up too quickly. Pay attention to a tendency to overindulge, because there's sort of like, you know, too much of a good time is not necessarily healthy for you. So pay attention. Some of the celebrities that have this aspect are Emilia Clarke, Dany Targaryen from the Game of Thrones, Emma Stone, Sarah Hyland, and Shia LaBeouf. So I guess they are pretty successful when it comes to creative pursuits. Let's take a closer look at each of the signs and just, you know, play with possibilities of what this might signify for you. For Aries rising, we have Venus in the 5th house, trining Jupiter in the 1st house. Jupiter in the 1st for Aries rising signifies time of new beginnings and reinventing yourself. Jupiter may have brought up topics of independence and believing in yourself and starting new things, right? Like on your own, being more curious about who you are, where you see yourself, and who you want to be. Maybe topics of teaching, leading and bringing people behind you. And Venus in the 5th house points you towards joy and creativity and children. So whichever of these new things you're starting are likely to include more joy, and maybe they include working with children. Maybe you're starting a creative project. If you have any initiatives that depend on you and depend on self-effort and put a smile on your face, this is a great time for that. So, you know, it's literally connecting the house of creativity with the house of your physical body and the house of like I am. So redefining yourself, seeing good luck when it comes to matters related to creative projects, artistic self-expression, relationships, maybe starting a new relationship. Maybe you take a risk and you date someone new, or you take a risk and you approach them and you ask them like, want to go on a date, and normally you don't approach people, perhaps. So have fun, take action, enjoy this aspect. For Taurus rising, we have Venus in the 4th, trining Jupiter in the 12th. This could be very healing, I'm thinking, because both of these deal with like past and childhood and family. And Jupiter in the 12th might make you see something about your patterns and how they relate to your family, how maybe you're doing things that your family used to do and how you can transform some of that. There might also be a sense of understanding of how you stand in your own way, because Jupiter in the 12th is the house of self-undoing. But I feel like very positive for family dynamics, for your childhood wounds. Maybe you find some healing. Maybe you just go on adventure with your family and, you know, travel together or something like that. Yeah, like home and family can be a source of joy right now. And it might be either through traveling with them, having a good time in your home, or through facing some past, or even honestly, even like feeling nostalgic. If you're feeling nostalgic about your family, about your childhood, maybe you create something that was inspired by the family. I wonder. And for some of you, there might be some kind of like gifts and benevolence coming from a hidden source, from someone you might not expect money or abundance coming from. And here, I would say it's one of the places where you have to be careful with just like escaping and indulging into not so good for you behaviors. For Gemini rising, we have Venus in the 3rd, trining Jupiter in the 11th. Great time for any writing, any blogging, any technological projects, filming, putting your work out there. 11th is the house of larger world, social media, big groups, your fans, and 3rd house, Venus being in the 3rd house, encourages you to pursue your skills and hobbies and things that make you feel happy. So presenting writing projects, speaking in front of other people, asking people for support, could be very successful for you right now, as well as you might receive some good news from friends, 11th house, or from siblings perhaps, right? Because siblings are in the 3rd house. 3rd house also deals with business matters. So if you've been thinking of going off on your own and starting something new, August 18th might be the time when you play with it and experiment with it and maybe take those first steps. Can't emphasize this enough that a lot of things, most things that you do, most things that you take action in around this time will be successful. You just need to believe in yourself. For Cancer rising, this is very professionally oriented and financially oriented. We have Venus in your 2nd house of money, trining Jupiter in your 10th house of work. So there might be some kind of like professional changes, professional developments that bring you money, that bring you recognition or a sense of accomplishment, right? Like 2nd house is money, but 2nd house is also self-worth. It's you're taking some kind of action that changes your status, career, reputation, maybe builds your career reputation. Maybe you have a new business idea, right? Like you start teaching or you start your own business, and that brings financial gains. If you are in a position of working for other people, ask them for a raise, ask them for that project that you are interested in, and see them tell you yes. For Leo rising, we have Venus in the first, trining Jupiter in the ninth. And Venus in the first gives you a lot of charm, a lot of kind of light, a lot of beauty, presence right now. You're more visible, you seek to be more visible. And Jupiter in the ninth encourages you to expand your world, encourages you to expand how you do things and expand who you are, right? Like if Venus in the first is like, I am beautiful, I like attention, I want to be more creative, expressive, visible. Jupiter in the ninth says like, okay, maybe it's time for you to do something that deals with travel. Maybe it's time for you to teach. Maybe it's time for you to take a course. Maybe it's like saying that if you want to be more visible, you can take tap dancing lessons. Anyone tap dances? But maybe you can take a painting class, or you can take a dance class and do something that will inspire that fire, that light, that excited childlike energy within you. There might be a romance, like something romantic here too, with someone foreign or different than you. And yeah, like any changes to your identity, to who you are, that are related to travel, maybe like taking a job that lets you travel, or creating that job for yourself, applying for that kind of job, that could be fun. For Virgo rising, we have Venus in the 12th, trining Jupiter in the 8th. For Virgo, this also feels, actually I think for all earth signs, for Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn, we get activation of like 4th, 12th, 8th for these signs. So for Virgo, this could be very healing, because you have an aspect between 12th house, Venus in the 12th house, making you look at your self-defeating tendencies in relationships, at your kind of negative, right, like habits and past relationship history. It's trining Jupiter in the 8th. So, and Jupiter in the 8th encourages transformation. 8th house is the place of transformation. It encourages healing. And basically looking, it might not be as visible for you guys for Virgo risings. It might be a lot more like hidden, and maybe just an overall sense of like things will work out. But yeah, like I think it could be a good time to look at your past relationships and reconsider, right? Like do things differently perhaps. And 8th house also deals with other people's money and their resources and things that they bring to you. So this aspect could mean money coming your way from something you have forgotten, from like some hidden source, from a benefactor of some kind, maybe receiving return on investment, or receiving some kind of like inheritance. But it's all very quiet and kind of like secret in a way, or behind the scenes it's happening. Maybe not a lot of people know of the healing that you're doing, or the growth, or the financial benefits that you're experiencing. For Libra rising, Venus in the 11th is going to trine Jupiter in the 7th. 11th house is your friendships, your network, social media. 7th house is the place of business and romantic partnerships. So when you have those two houses work together, or planets in those two houses blessing those energies, those topics, this could of course show up in a few different ways, right? But there's definitely a positive flow between your house of partnerships and your house of visibility and other people. So maybe you start dating a friend, maybe you move a friendship to a different level, and that's why there's like a good flow between friendships and relationships. Maybe you start a partnership with a friend, some kind of like you join forces together on a new exciting project, and if you're about to start it on the 18th, because it's a great time to do it. There might be good luck on social media. Definitely, if you are someone who works on social media or presents ideas on social media, I would recommend you take advantage of that day. And like even, you know, a couple of days before, a couple of days after, put your work out there, reach out to people for support. If you need help of someone to forward and build your business, this could be a lovely opportunity. For Scorpio rising, Venus is currently in the 10th house. It's going to trine Jupiter in your 6th house. There's positive developments to your career. I know a lot of Scorpio risings have been going through career growth and career changes. So if you are looking for a job, this could signify getting a job. Overall, it just feels like there's some kind of serious project, some kind of big job that you're taking on, but you feel inspired. You don't feel like you're unhappy with it. You actually feel empowered, you feel ready. And this big project could be professional, or this could also deal with your health. Could be like a legal matter that you're handling, or some sort of like problem solving, big project, big initiative. And if this resonates, let me know in the comments below. But yeah, like it's big, it's time consuming, but you don't dislike it. You feel like it's worth it. You feel like inspired to pursue it. And even, you know, if you're having a kid, for example, because having a child is a lot of work and requires a big commitment, but you don't feel like exhausted. You feel more empowered and excited. And let me know if this is a professional thing. Definitely tell me how this resonates. For Sagittarius rising, we have Venus in the 9th, trining Jupiter in the 5th. And here you have a good flow of energy between the house of creativity, romance, children, and the house of travel, education, expansion, right? So this could be great for you. This could be great for your child. Maybe your child is getting some sort of blessing. Maybe they're traveling. Maybe they're expanding their world somehow, and you're just feeling very happy for them. You might be dating someone, starting a relationship with someone who's foreign, different from you. Maybe even someone who's like well-educated, someone who can bring new perspectives into your life. We all know Sagittarius likes that. And let me know if this resonates. Let me know if anything like that happens for you. And because it's the house of education, maybe there's something that you're starting to learn that deals with creative matters or deals with things that make you happy. Perhaps you are starting to teach, right? Like learning or teaching the matters, the subjects that get you excited can be a part of this transit, as well as 9th house is also the place of publishing. And considering that like 5th house is the place of education, you might also be publishing your work or finding recognition for your creative ideas, like, you know, selling a book or something like that. For Capricorn rising, we have Venus in the 8th, trining Jupiter in the 4th. Venus in the 8th oftentimes brings gifts through other people, brings opportunities through other people, and Jupiter in the 4th is home and family. So this could signify gifts to you coming through parents or family members, or an inheritance, right? Like maybe you sell a home or you're selling an apartment and it's benefiting your finances. You may receive, there might be positive developments for your partner too, because Venus is in the 8th house. 8th house is the house of other people's resources. So maybe your partner gets money, maybe your partner receives inheritance and you benefit through that. There might be an opportunity to pay off a mortgage or maybe get a good deal on a mortgage. And since both of these houses have an element of what makes us feel safe, what makes us feel comfortable with the 4th house, and healing and transformation with the 8th house, you might be very much transforming your relationship with your family and your attitude towards it and healing family karma. For Aqua rising, we have Venus in the 7th house, trining Jupiter in the 3rd. And you have a great flow of energy between the house of relationships, business partnerships, and the house of skills, hobbies, neighborhood. So if we go with the topic of relationships, maybe you go out in your neighborhood and you meet someone, maybe you meet someone through your sibling, maybe you just have like a nice night out, and that's like, once again, you know, you might approach a stranger and say hi and it flourishes into a relationship, or Venus trine Jupiter can just be the time when you have a lovely time and enjoy yourself. But yeah, some kind of new romantic beginnings that either is with a neighbor or in a neighborhood, or someone who is very familial to you, someone who's in your immediate environment. And let me know if there is someone in your immediate environment that you have your sights on. This could also be great for starting a business. For third house is your skills, your interests, your hobbies, right? So if you enjoy doing yoga, this might be the time when you will be encouraged to take that thing that brings you joy, something that, or even, you know, third house, something you do with your hands, maybe knitting, maybe making jewelry. This could be a lovely opportunity to be like, well, maybe I'm going to turn it into a business, or you're starting a partnership with someone in your immediate environment, or just like, yeah, like a business partnership that allows you to speak, to write, to express yourself, because third house also deals with writing and speech and communication. So maybe you're like getting empowered by a partner, getting empowered by yourself to start a new adventure that will allow you to express yourself more. And finally, for Pisces rising, we have Venus in the 6th house of daily work, health, problem solving, trining Jupiter in the 2nd house of finances and values. And the first thing that comes to mind is just being more happy, feeling more valued, right? Like Venus in the 6th is happy to serve other people, may take kind of relationships, look at relationships from a point of view of like what needs to be done versus let's sit under the moon and sing songs. So it makes you, nothing's wrong with sitting under the moon and singing songs. Great way to spend your time. But yes, thinking of all of the work that you put into a relationship, all of your practical approaches to things, and perhaps getting rewarded for that, be that an actual financial reward, or it's something that is more like recognition. Maybe people in your life say thank you, or they treat you somehow. Maybe they take you to a spa. If you want them to take you to a spa, show them this video. But you may feel like appreciated, recognized for the work that you're doing. And this is also lovely because there's an energy flow between the house of money and the house of health. It's also lovely to invest in your health and invest into your well-being and spend some time on taking care of you, because you've been taking care of other people, perhaps with this position of the Sun and Venus in your 6th house. So enjoy this transit. Let me know how it goes. Let me know if you feel like it's a moment of peace amongst the stormy August Saturnian seas. And I hope you enjoyed my background. I hope it wasn't too dark, but I'll talk to you very soon. Bye.